All right. I'm still setting up. I was going to be my normal minute late, and I see y'all in the chat. And what's funny about it is half hour ago I finished the podcast, today's podcast, and I need a little bit more light. Let me see here. Let me see if it's my if it's let me get let me oh geez, yeah, I'll leave Trey's comment there. Hold on, I gotta get myself a little bit more light here. Stay there, bud. Stay there. All right, that should do it. Okay. Oh geez. Oh boy. You know what's funny? Hold on. Let me get this out of here. So for those of you who are members, I'm gonna get to it. Trust me. For those of you who are members, I just finished a podcast about a half hour ago. And my main gripe during the podcast was I was sick and tired of answering the question if I want Tarasenko or not. And I said I figured I'd be recording it and it would happen. And then here we are. So Eyes of Night says exactly Eyes of Night and Nerf will have it. Nerf says no prospects gone, and we didn't have to give up a first. I says I was worried Mackey would go in this deal. And hey, thank you, Cuban. Thank you, Cuban. Yeah, Cuban with the tour says Pavel Bure to the Panthers. We'll take him too, right? Where? Not in a complaint type of way, right? I know, Michael. I don't. It's one of those moves where it's just like you can't not add people, but I also hate that we'll be changing the chemistry. So where can he play the left side at all, or is he going to have to be on the right? That was the biggest concern I have. Is where, not that we can't use them, but how are we going to have to break up the lines now? Yeah, Tyler says I'd love to get for us to get through Claire as a depth piece. I agree there. Yeah, Nerful's correct. Says last year Chucky got injured and we had to put Tarasenko in. This is your main takeaway from this. Nerful, do you have my house bugged? Because that's almost like a quote that I talked about in the podcast today. We'll just put it that way. Shoots left, plays right. Yeah, that's what I thought, Eric. So Vincent, they're saying a couple of picks. We don't know exactly what. And Lakers Dope wants to know what line will Tarasenko be on. And that's the question, because that still doesn't technically. The only thing that you could really do at this point is you want to move Verhaeghe into Cousins' spot, move Reinhart over to the left, and put Tarasenko on Barkov's right. Can Reinhart play on the left? That's the only concern I have is where is he going to play and how many lines are we going to have to remember? Rodriguez is a righty too, and Nerful says Tarasenko can play both sides and can play on any line of the top nine. If one line isn't clicking, you have so many combinations he can play Barkov, Bennett, or Lundell. See, the thing I was going by, Nerful, is I was reading George's article from the other day, and he says, this is what he said, which is what gave me the concern. He said Tarasenko's only ever played on the right. So that's kind of where my concern is. Now, if you're going to put him just next to Bennett, if you're going to just take Cousins, put him on the fourth line, and put Tarasenko in Cousins' spot, okay. If that's going to work, then I guess that's what we're gonna do. Kyle just woke up. Give me 30 seconds to yell to him to the news. Give me 30 seconds. He's just right there. Stay there, puppy. Stay there. As I went live, Tarasenko for 2 draft picks. We got Tarasenko for 2 draft picks. All right. Okay. I wanted to let Kyle know. I wanted to let him know while he was still there. So, Tyler, that's what I mean. You know, not that I have any say in the matter, but if what Nerfel is saying is accurate, if Tarasenko can play either side, then that's what I would do. Is I would put him in Cousins' spot and no Marlboro. I would put Tarasenko in Cousins' spot and put Cousins on the 4th line, and then Lockwood and Gadjevich become the extras. So that's what I would assume would happen, because then you're only messing with one line in that top 4, in that top, in the top 3. You gotta feel for Cousins though. Nerfel says Tarasenko was never played left wing in his career, but when he signed with Ottawa, he said he'd be willing to try it out. But you think they may go Lundell, Lundell, Tarasenko, and then what? Put Rodriguez on the 4th line? Yeah, I mean, we've got also, for those people who are just listening, there's all sorts of different thoughts and ideas. I assume that we might find out tomorrow, right? I would assume that we would find out tomorrow. Vincent says the size of Gadjevich matters, right? Nerfel says go back to the Rodriguez, Barkov, Reinhart line. So Rodriguez, Barkov, Reinhart, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, and then Lundell, Luosterainen, Tarasenko. I think that's what Nerfel is saying. So you go Barkov, Reinhart, Rodriguez, Bennett with Verhaeghe and Tkachuk, and then you put Tarasenko with Lundell and Luosterainen. Okay, I like Nerfel's idea. Yeah, I like that idea. Marlboro says, I'm concerned with losing Gadjevich's balls and presence on the 4th line. I agree with you, Marlboro. I like him and Lockwood, but I like Gadjevich especially. All right, here's the trade. I see. Nerfel says, since Tarasenko is in Canada, it may take him longer to get American visa, so doubt we'll see him tomorrow. Ottawa retains 50%. Going, there goes the chat. Hold on. Here, let me put this up. Here we go. Ottawa retains 50% on Tarasenko in the trade with Florida, going to Ottawa, a 2024 4th round pick, which becomes a 3rd if we win the cup, and a 2025 3rd round pick. Beautiful. So nothing from nothing. Hey, thank you, Wise. Thank you, Wise. He says you may have to steal the hockey guy's whiteboard so you can write lines up on the stream, right? Let me hide that. Hey, thank you, Cuban. Thank you, Cuban. Thank you, buddy. Cuban says you need to stream all day tomorrow from 8 to 3. You mean Friday, right? You mean Friday. Friday's the deadline. What I'm hoping is we do everything that we're going to do in between now and then. Mike C says, I agree. Tarasenko, Lundell, and Luosterainen and Gadjevich should be on standby, especially for the playoffs. I think Nerfel's got that one right. You move. I mean, we've been playing well, right? But I don't mind doing that so much because we know Rodriguez works with Barkov and Reinhart. We know Verhaeghe works with Bennett and Tkachuk, so we're strong there. And then now hopefully Tarasenko will be as that Rodriguez combination has looked pretty good, but it does give us some depth. It does no doubt give us some depth. Tyler says, I'm worried about Tarasenko not fitting our system. He seems lazy sometimes. how can I put this? You can afford a little bit on that line because Lundell and Luostarinen are so good at defense, but he's going to have to buy into the system or skadoodle, right? Michael says Tarasenko. Michael's got a different idea, and we're going to be doing this for forever. Michael wants Tarasenko on the left with Barkov and Reinhart, and then Verhaeghe, Bennett, Tkachuk, and then Lundell, Luostarinen, and Rodriguez, and then Cousins, Stenlund, Lomber. That's what Michael says he'd do. I don't disagree with that either. So, it just depends on how they want to work things. Like Nerfel said, if he's in Canada, so it's going to take him an extra couple days. So what? Okay. Here, Al's says, I'm a Blues fan, and Tarasenko was very lazy. I'll be shocked if the Panthers can whip him into shape. I like the guy, though, and feel bad for the hate he gets. Maybe he's willing to play our style for a short amount of time, right? I agree with Michael. Says the third line is finally clicking. The chat's going too fast for me to read stuff. He says the third line is finally clicking. I wouldn't change that. I don't disagree, Michael, but something's changing. I agree with trying to only change one line if possible. I mean, I would just I like Nerfel's idea, but I wouldn't mind Tarasenko just taking Cousins' spot, moving him down either. But the point could be mute because for all we know, we might go get Duclair too and Wenberg, right? Fourth line be Stenlund with Duclair and Wenberg. I'm kidding. Yeah, RC, it happened basically, the review is scheduled to go live at noon anyway. So it worked out. Marlboro says, can we shift Cousins to the third as a rotational piece with Rodriguez? It didn't work. That's the problem, Marlboro, man. Talking about leaving, putting Cousins on that third line did not work with Lundell and Luostarinen whatsoever. That's the issue there. Coop, Heather, yeah, you sneezed. When I came here to start setting up the stream, and there were a couple people already in the chat talking about it. So I started about a minute early. So it happened. They did me a solid. This is a good sign, by the way. This is a good sign because in the past, it's a guarantee that I'm gone when they make a move. I go fishing. I take the dogs to the river. That's when they make a move. This time, Bill did me the solid of making the move right as I was scheduled to go live anyway. Genuinely appreciate that, Bill. Tip of the hat to you. That's a definite sign he's watching the show. He wanted the deal to be done, and then he wanted to see what we had to say about it. So he's watching. I know you're in here, Bill. I see you. I see you somewhere. All right, let's Nerfel said, here we go. From Colby Guy. With Ottawa retaining 50% of Tarasenko's contract, the Panthers still have another $3 million in deadline cap space available per cap friendly. They have room for another move. And we wouldn't have done that if we weren't trying to make another move. So let's take a time out. Let's take a pause here for a second on worrying about what the lines are going to be, unless we're going to go get a defenseman. Now, right? Because if we still have that much cap space, and so maybe, I'm not saying I don't want Hanifin or do want Hanifin. My theory on the defense, and then I'll get back to the chat, is Vincent says, are they going to waive Lorentz? I forgot all about that guy. I honestly forgot all about that guy. My theory on the defense is if you can go out and get another guy that kind of would belong in your top four and move Kulikov to 7D and insert the new guy on the bottom pair with OEL, I would do it. That I would do for extra depth. So maybe that's the move in terms of keeping that cap space. All right, I went to the bottom of it. The Trey still wants Corey Perry, right? IDK says adding and not subtracting. Hope this is all good signs come playoff time. Well, they did it. So we have to be happy about it now. John says, Jaws, it was great to see different people scoring last night. It's great to see Reinhardt approaching 50 plus, but the more people that score, the better we look approaching the playoffs. Amen. Amen. And Vlad is correct. He says 3 million is enough for Duke. Yeah. Yeah, Nerful saying the same thing. He says, if you think Zito isn't going for another depth defenseman after getting 50% retained on Tarasenko, yeah, he's going to do something. He's going to do something. Yep. All right, I'm scrolling down. I can't catch all the comments today, guys. It's going too fast, but that's okay. Metal Coaster wants to McDavid for a 2035 ninth round pick. Are they going to have 9 rounds by then? Owl said, I would be horrified to play the Panthers if I was any team but the Canes. They may be able to beat us just out of hatred, right? Eyes says, I have a confession, Jaws, on Bill Zito's burner account. I know he's in here watching. That's why he did the video. That's why he did the thing so early. Nerful says, they're likely going to sound down Lockwood, and they'll keep Lorentz until they trade for a D-man. Yeah, is Lockwood, can we waive him? Is he waivers exempt, Nerful? That's the only thing. If you start waiving guys, we don't want to lose anybody, right? If neither one of those guys is waiver exempt, I waive Lorentz, even though that's probably a bad idea because Lorentz is 4C. I still wouldn't mind going and getting Nick Bukestad, right? Again, like I said, get guys that you're just going to stash. Just stash them. You don't play. Even if you want to go get Duclair for a 5th, you're not going to play until somebody gets hurt. Just sit down and relax. We'll need you. Okay. John says 20 games left and we are trying to improve this team. It's a nice problem to have, right? Yeah, I like Trey. Trey says, can Zito fix the Dolphins? New Orleans had the same guy running the Saints and Pels. The damn chat went too fast again. He said it didn't work out, but that's not the point. Yeah, give Zito a chance. Hey, thank you, Cuban. Thank you. That ain't true, is it, Cuban? Cuban says Tom Wilson's coming to the Panthers. That's not true, right? That's not true, right? Yo, Mr. DraftKings, how you doing, bud? Colin, yeah, GM of the year, right? Hey, Nick, how you doing? True says the only thing we need to do more is move the puck around more to draw the defense to one side. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I will tell you one thing that I'm not crazy about. And again, I'm going from George's article, so maybe it don't matter. But one of the things that George was opining about was that if we brought in Tarasenko, we would change the structure of the power play, which to me would be just one of the dumbest things ever. So this is happening. That's okay. Yeah, Owls was asking if Kyle found out about the trade. He was in the shower, so I took a second and I knocked on the door. The bad news for me is that when I'm done with you all here, I have to go to Twitter because on Twitter about 4 days ago, I begged Bill Zito not to make a move. So I'm sure my mentions are just going to be delightful. I might deactivate. John, thank you, John. John sent $2 and wants to know if I finally eat pancakes this morning. No, I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You know why? Because my son keeps sleeping till noon. That's why. Oh, he's already out of the show. He's not there anymore. Yeah, he's going to be in trouble. I need my pancakes. Damien says, I saw on Bleacher Report, Open Ice, that they got Tarasenko with Bennett and Kachuk. Well, who at this point, who knows? At this point, the only one that really knows is Maurice and probably Zito, right? Nerful says, of note, with the Sens' modest return in the Tarasenko deal to Florida, yeah, the player had a strong say in the process, courtesy of his no trade clause. Isn't it weird how when Giroux forced his way, we had to give up a 1 and tip it, and we got Tarasenko for virtual peanuts. Mike C says, I think forward-wise we are done, ? Grab a depth D-man and call it a day. I don't think we need to too much with the forwards, too much. I agree for the most part, Mike. If we could get Duclair for free and just stash him on the roster in case, break glass in case, I would do it. Like Duke for a 5th or a 6th and just have him there just in case. I would do that. But I think everybody agrees about the depth defenseman. Yeah, Nerfel says players want to come to Florida now. It's awesome. Okay, scrolling back down to the thing. Hey, Brother Time. Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Brother Time says we're not sure where they will fit Tarasenko, but that is a fine problem to have. Yes, I agree with you. Thank you for the super chat, brother. Much appreciated. Hey, Jake, how you doing, bud? What were you asked? What the hell were you yakking about? Yeah, that's okay, Jake. It happened. Jake, Bill did me the favor of making the deal right as I went live. It was like 2 minutes before I went live. So that was nice of him. I didn't have to come home from the dog, from taking the dogs to the beach. And you guys already know for 2 hours and I'm sweating. I got to get in here. It actually worked out for me one time. But that's a good sign. That's a good sign. Michael says Duclair is too good to not be in the lineup every night. He won't be here this year, unfortunately, right? Probably not, Owls. Owl says no live stream Friday now, damn it, Bill. We might be able to convince Kyle. Well, remember, I got to do the review anyway on Friday. We play Thursday. So I got to go live anyway on Friday. So we'll just play it, play it by ear and see what else we do, what else the Panthers do. And if there's any, if there's any big moves that might possibly be made with other teams, I might, I might do something, but we'll already be live at noon anyway. Nerfel says this isn't comparable to the 2022 deadline of going all here. I can't read it here. The chat's going so fast when I try to read your comments, I can't read it. He says, this isn't comparable to the 2022 deadline of going all in. This is an insurance move that costs virtually nothing in a move a cup contender makes. I agree 100%, Nerfel. Like I said, I didn't really want to get anybody, but if you get them without getting rid of any of our guys, then okay. You know what I mean? I mean, it's basically Tarasenko for free. It's, you can't, I'm not going to bitch and complain about that. Jake, yeah, you saw my tweet, right? No, I'm okay, Bubba. Well, okay. So Bubba says Jaws isn't happy. He wanted the roster to stay the same. What's funny is I talk about this, the whole podcast today is to clarify my feeling there. Definitely 100%. When Cousins was on that third line, I was not happy. I admit that I wanted a move to be made. Since Cousins went up to the second line, Rodriguez is on third line, we're tearing up the league. So I've kind of been like, I don't want to change anything. Now, you're bringing Tarasenko, you're keeping Cousins on the team, okay. But I started seeing some crazy things like people wanted to move Mikkola for Hannafin and all of that. When I started seeing that kind of stuff be thrown around, that's when I got to the point where, I don't want to do anything. That'd be crazy to lose a guy to gain a guy, because the whole point to getting guys is in case somebody gets hurt. So if you swap 1 for 1, you still got the same number of guys. So a move like this, Tarasenko for basically free, and we don't lose anybody. Okay, I'm good with that. I'm not overly thrilled about remaking the lines 20 games before the playoffs start, but other teams have done it. And so, I mean, yeah, I understand and I'm okay with it. I'm not mad. I'm not the biggest fan. I'm just kind of like, just win the damn hardware. That's all. I don't care. Just win whatever. If that's what Zito thinks it takes for us to win, Okay. All right. I'll go along with it. All right. I'm going from the bottom here. And Nerful's got a good point. He says, look at Vegas when they got Barbashev last year. They put him on the top line, and that line carried Vegas to a cup. Yeah, and then they got rid of Riley Smith, and they gave him his $5 million. But you're right. You're right, Nerful. You're right there. And IDK says 20 games is a good amount of time to build chemistry. I believe that it's enough time. It is. Where we benefit is that everybody has already played with everybody else, not Tarasenko, but the top 9 especially. I mean, 8 of them were here last year, right? The only guy that wasn't last year was Rodriguez. So everybody's played with everybody. So that chemistry is set. So from that perspective, I understand the people saying that a good team can handle a little bit of change with that. So yeah, Tom, we're here. We got them. John says, agreed, Jaws. Cousins deserve to be on the second line. And AJ says, I'm with you, Jaws. I'm cool with it. Just don't F it up. Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And I'm not gonna pretend like what happened with Giroux and Sherratt doesn't, make me a little twitchy. You know what I mean? That was we gave up the farm, and the best thing anybody can say about that is maybe it helped us beat Washington. You know what I mean? So I get it. But at this point, these are the guys we have. Somebody throw me some defensive names you think he's going to go get. Somebody throw me some defensive names you think he's going to go get. Because when I did the former Panthers, I was looking at the forwards. Nick wants to know, Tarasenko is a lefty, but he plays on the right. He's only played on the right side, but he's a lefty. So Tom says Eric Johnson. Tyler says Dumba. IDK, no, the 50% retainment. IDK is asking, he wonders if the 50% retainment will help the Cats sign Reinhart. That only counts for this year. Tarasenko doesn't have a contract for next year. What that does is that gives us enough cap space. We still have enough cap space to go get another defenseman, to get another player. That's why the salary was retained. Dana says Mark Stahl to the Panthers. Daniel says, is this team better than the President's Trophy team? This team might sweep the President's Trophy team. I think this team would, just because, look, I mean, this Bob or that Bob. Look at our goaltending during that season. It was bad Bob or Drieger or rookie Spencer Knight versus this team. I don't think the President's Trophy team wins a game against this team in a 7-game series. Let's see. Nerful says Carolina is reportedly willing to retain 50% of Tony DeAngelo for a 6th-round pick. Well, anybody should want. I mean, that shouldn't be a difficult move for anybody that would want him, right? Okay. Miami Breaker says, breaking news, one of your puppets got traded to the Panthers for socks. Oh, hopefully it's not the Bubba puppet. Maybe it's Bennett. I only use the Bennett accent when Dana's on the stream because I know she hates the accent. So I do it for you, Bennett, Dana. I do it for you. What did Bob say? Trey wants to ban Bob. Mike says maybe they go for Adam Henrique. Well, that's a name. Yeah, Tom wants Nick Cousins for Owen Tippett. I'm good with that, but I somehow feel that's not gonna do it. Craig says the defense this year smokes the President's team. Yep. Oh, you're right, Lil J. You're right. President's Trophy didn't have Drieger. I'm thinking the year before. Yeah. No, you're right. They all run together. When you're losing and you never get out of, when you're losing, they all start to run together like the Dolphins season, right? Truth is, I'm going to have to make some pancakes now. I'm still waiting for my pancakes. he gets up at noon. I've already eaten 90% of my food I eat before noon. I only have a small dinner. I eat most of my food between 8 o'clock and 10 o'clock in the morning. So I want my pancakes now. I got other videos to do. I did this. I guess I got to do a video after this, right? And then I've got a video for a sponsor that I have to do after this. So my day just got busy. Tom says, Jaws, you already discussed how this may affect the chemistry or where Tarasenko may fit. Yes. If we don't get anybody else, as much as I would like to disagree with what Nerfel suggested, I somewhat agree, which is to put Rodriguez back with Barkov and Reinhart, move Verhaeghe down with Verhaeghe, Bennett, Kachuk, and then put Tarasenko on that right side next to Lundell and Luosterainen. So I would like to disagree. My heart disagrees, but my head thinks that's the right thing to do. We'll put it that way. Mike says, if there's a time to trade Knight, this could be it. I'm glad that you brought that up, Mike, because I talk about that on the podcast, which won't be out till after this. So half the things I talk about on the podcast don't make sense. But in terms of Knight, the problem with trading Spencer Knight right now, Mike, is he's our third goalie. So if somebody gets dinged, Spencer Knight's got to get brought up. So if you trade Spencer Knight, you need some kind of veteran third goalie presence in either coming back that way, or you have to pick somebody else up, because that you can't go into the playoffs with just two goalies. I know you're probably not going to put Knight on the roster to begin with, but if somebody gets dinged, you've got to be able to have Spencer Knight or somebody with some kind of experience. Cuban, thank you, buddy. Thank you, Cuban. He says, Jaws, would I trade Knight for Chychrun? No, I would not trade Knight for anybody that doesn't have some term on his deal. I don't know. I have to think about that. I'd have to think about that, but not for Chychrun. Does he have term on his deal? It's hard to know, because we still got to sign all these other guys, right? So not knowing if Montour is coming or going, some of us assume he's going, but it's just like, I don't want to give up Knight to get a defenseman that's just going to replace Montour when we could just sign Montour. Does that make any sense? What? Oh, come on, Kyle.
Did anyone mention that the Senators are retaining half of Tarasenko's salary?
Yeah. We were talking about that right now. So what that means is, where it's pretty much unanimous, we agree that means we're going to try to get more defensive help.
More defensive help?
Yeah. More defensive help. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, Bubba, I know. He says, my tweet didn't work. Zito traded. I know. But we didn't get rid of anybody on the roster. So we still have the same 18 guys that we had. It's just one goes to the bench. But yeah. Who said that? Jerry says Tarasenko might be a Reinhart replacement. Reinhart is signing. I'll say it right here, right now. If Reinhart is not leaving, because whatever the hell he wants, whether it be 9 million, 10 million, I don't care if the man wants 11 million. We have the money to pay him. All we have to do is either move on from Montour or move on from Spencer Knight, okay, etc. We have the money to basically give Reinhart and Forsling basically whatever they want. Okay, I'm not saying I want to give him 11 million, but he's asking for 9 or 10, right? And we have the money to do that. So I said Reinhart is holding out for the lifetime Flying Fluffy membership. So no, I don't think Tarasenko is a replacement for Reinhart. Because he would need a contract too, and I don't have any concerns about Reinhart getting signed. I think. Again, I talked about this on some podcast today. you can't, as much as we wanted the extensions to go, right? As much as we wanted the extensions to be signed, Zito had to not have those deals signed just in case you want to keep maximum flexibility at the deadline, right? I mean, we are the example of you never know who's going to come available, right? So had we already given Huberdeau or Uyghur their extensions, there's no Kachuk. You see what I'm saying? Most likely. So not keeping all of those guys as UFAs, you just never know what's going to happen, right? So you want to keep your options open. And now that we're starting to see, I would not be surprised if we at least see Reinhart, maybe Reinhart and Forsling's deals get done here soon, once the trade deadline's over. What did Nerfel say? Geez, Nerfel says Reinhart 8-year extension close per Friedman, and he says, "Nah, I'm joking." Damn it, Nerfel! I'll take that wrench away. Rinketic said it's not a lot of cap, but heard OEL might go back to Sweden. If OEL wants to stay, it depends. That's a next year thing. He's only signed for the 1 year anyway. And he's making 2.2. So, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it next year. Again, so much depends on at this point, Bill Zito knows what he's doing. He said he has a plan. If we're trying to keep everybody, if we're keeping all the guys, including Montour, then somebody else has to go. If we're going to just move on from Montour, we have money to sign everybody within reason. You know what I mean? Rosado says the good thing about the trade is that we did not let go of anyone. Absolutely agree there, 100%. That was my biggest concern. Like I said, I saw somebody say throw in Mikula to get Hannafin on Twitter, and that set me into conniptions. I'm not gonna lie. So, no, the fact that we can't trade away any of these guys, especially guys that were here last year on the team, because those guys busted their ass, made the playoffs, got all the way to the finals, played with broken legs and broken arms and all of that crap. And they deserve to finish what they started here, the same guys that were here last year. Yeah, Shelby says Tarasenko does. Oh, wait, here we go. He says Tarasenko does not need a U.S. work visa and is expected to play tomorrow against the Flyers. Okay. All right. So then if that's the case, then we'll know tomorrow morning at practice, right? Morning skate, right? Nerfel says you're going to have to change the title to Tarasenko trade review. You know what? Let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do that. Hold on a second. Give me a second here. It's only going to change the name on YouTube, but yeah, that's a good idea. So bear with me here. Okay. Okay, let's see. Hold on a second. All right, Billy, you got to move over here. I'll be back to the chat in 30 seconds. Okay. All right, I changed it. To so now. I mean, we got 80 people in here, so we're in good shape. Thank you all for coming up. All right. What did Bubba say? Bubba says Panthers have to make a roster move to remove. Try it again. Panthers have to make a roster move for Tarasenko to be able to play. Deal coming later today. Huh. Oh, maybe what he's talking about is the actual deal. No, what he's saying, Bubba, is the actual deal will come later today. But to make a roster move, he's just talking about sending somebody down to the AHL. I would, yeah. What like sending either Lockwood, Lawrence, right? Not Gadjevich. But yeah, I think they're more talking about just sending somebody down to the AHL. I don't know if we have anybody left that's waivers exempt, because boy, that would suck to lose. Michael says, no, Jaws, the Panthers are going to send someone out to play. Yeah, no, but they're going to have to send somebody down. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they don't have to trade somebody. They just have to they have to send somebody down to the AHL. We don't have to trade anybody. Why is this confusing? Why is this confusing? We can just send Lockwood down or send not Gadjevich, but either way. No, I don't think you can send. Hold on a second. Let me go to Cap Friendly. Let me go to Cap Friendly and see if who is it? Lockwood. Is Lockwood's contract? Hold on a second. Jeez, come on, Jaws. Tight. All right. Let me see. Is he? Because I know he's young. It's a 2-year, $1.5 million contract. Is it two-way? Let me see. He's only making minimum wage, but he's actually signed for this year and next year. It's not showing me. Let me go back to the chat. It's not showing me. Vincent says he's not waiver exempt. Yeah, it's not saying he's waiver exempt. So then he's probably, yeah. And if we waive him, Nerval says Lockwood likely to go on waiver today, then report to Charlotte tomorrow after he clears. That, as long as he doesn't get picked up, that would suck. Bubba says, why did George Richards say we have to make a trade? I think it might be worded incorrectly. I mean, unless he knows that there's an actual deal being made. I mean, is it something like, well, no, because even to get a veteran defenseman, to get a depth defenseman, I lost my train of thought because I'm looking at the chat. To even get a veteran depth defenseman, we would have to make yet another move, right? So let's just see how it all plays out. You know what I mean? Because we would have to be making moves. So maybe like Lockwood would go as part of a deal to get defensive help. You see what I'm saying? Let's just let it all play out and see. And Nerfel says the Panthers, we need to waive someone today to get Tarasenko on the roster tomorrow. Right. Yeah. So we would have to waive. Vincent says Lorentz is less valuable. I agree, but the problem is he's our 4C or 5C. He's the only, like if Stenling gets hurt, Lorentz goes in. Or if one of the other centers gets hurt, I mean, you can move Luosterainen, you could put Reinhardt. So maybe Lorentz would be, but I have a feeling it would be Lockwood, and you cross your fingers that nobody picks him up. Frank, thank you, Frank. Thank you, Frank. Oh, so Frank's got something here for us. Let me put this up. He says, Chychrun got scratched for trade purposes, and both Lightning and Panthers are in, which means one of the Tampa or Panthers are getting one of Chychrun or Hanifin. You could be wrong. You're always wrong. Yeah, Vincent, you're right. Rodriguez is a center as well. Yeah, so Chychrun got scratched. You want to give me a bottom pair of Chychrun and OEL, and you have Kulikov as your 7D. I'm okay with that. What do you got to give up to give Chychrun? Let's clear some roster space. Lockwood, if you had to. What do you got to give? You got to give him Lockwood and Mahura. You want to give up on Mahura? Matt Kierstead, Lucas Carlson. Can we finally get Lucas Carlson part of a deal somewhere? Right? Lucas Carlson and a fourth for Chychrun. Is that not enough? Is that too much? Rinketic said a first-round pick for Chychrun. No, Frank is trying to say it's Lundell, bro. No, it ain't Lundell. All right, let me see. Let me hide that. Okay. Oh boy, I'm going to be exhausted. Mechanic says Spencer in the third. Man, we can't, I thought about it. I don't know if we can move Spencer. If we move Spencer Knight now, we need another goalie because he's our third goalie. I'm searching my brain. I don't think we have anybody else. So I'm fairly certain that come playoff time, Spencer Knight is the third goalie. So if you move Spencer Knight, you've got to get something. You've got to get another goalie. Hey, Bubba. Thank you, Bubba. Bubba says 85 people watching right now at noon. Everyone is hyped for the trade deadline. This is more fun than 21-22 when we got Giroux and Sherratt. I agree because I was not happy with losing Owen Tippett. I was not happy. I mean, Bill Zito was just throwing $100 bills all over the place in that one, right? Yeah, Tom says we have Weber and that other big guy. But I'm talking about like somebody who's at least played a game in the NHL, right? That's kind of what I mean. I know we got other goalies, what I'm saying. But in terms of somebody that's, played in the NHL, the only other guy we got, I think, is Spencer Knight, right? Yeah, Tom says no one, right? Damien says trade Knight to the Wild for Fleury. Huh. Maybe. It all depends on what Zito wants to do. We don't know, right? Zito may laugh at us when we talk about trading Spencer Knight. We don't know, right? I says Knight is the most NHL ready of our AHL goalies. Exactly. Nerfel says we have a goalie in the KHL minor leagues. He's our best prospect. Weber's too old and not really a prospect. Okay. I believe you, Nerfel. But is he ready to be? I mean, you're going to call him up from the KHL to be the third goalie? You know what I mean? Oh, are you just talking about prospects down the road? Julian says, I like our defense, but Chychrun is a physical defender, which we kind of don't have. Yeah, I'd be good. I'd be good with that. You know what I mean? As long as we don't have to give up anything stupid to get him. All right, thank you, Nerfel. Jera, boy, good luck to me saying that name. That could take me 45 minutes just to figure out. Jera Mice, we're going to have to just call him the G-Man. We just had to call him KG. Okay, so we're caught up here. That's good. Yeah, Trey says, I'd love to have Chick here. He's a South Florida kid. Well, that's his dad, right? On the broadcast, the Bally's, right? Nerfel says, Gir A Simyuk. Okay. That sounds a little bit okay. That sounds easier. Yeah, Mark says fill the Gudis hole. Hey, look, every year people want to get Chychrun in here. So that maybe that'll happen, right? Tom says, I'm just confused on the fit. Isn't Tarasenko less stellar on defense, and how will Maurice handle that? How can I put this, Tom? I don't disagree, but that ain't our problem. No, what I mean is that's Vladimir's problem, right? I mean, the dude said he only wanted to come to Florida, and I don't think he wants to come here and be the guy that screws it up. You know what I mean? So, players are, I mean, Carter Verhaeghe back checks now. Back check, forecheck. That's Carter Verhaeghe. So I have a feeling he's coming here and he wants to buy in and be part of the show. I don't yeah, Tom. Yeah, exactly. Right. Nerfel says he was drafted in the 5th round in 2021. Yeah, that's part of that whole goalie excellence department that we have, right? But what's confirmed on Panthers in Instagram, Bubba? What did he say? What did you? What was confirmed on Panthers in Instagram, Bubba? I don't see the previous comment. Oh, Tarasenko confirmed. I see what you're saying. Okay. Gotcha. All right, scroll to the bottom now. And here's the question. Jameson wants to know, who do we take off PP2 to slot in Tarasenko? Anybody? I mean, because PP2 is, hold on a second. Chat's going so fast and you guys are answering each other's questions, and then I try to answer the question and then I get lost because I'm reading everybody else's responses too. Nerfel says you can take Ekblad off for OEL and run 4 forwards and 1 D-man. Yeah, I agree with Nerfel. I would almost say, well, I was almost going to say take, for what Mike said, take Erod off PP2, but of course he had success with that bumper play too. Now, are you going to put Tarasenko in that bumper spot? Would that be his spot? Right? Like, because Tkachuk stays out there for the whole thing for the most part. Right? Hey, Paul, how you doing, buddy? He says, wow, great pickup. Hannafin next. It might be Chychrun, Paul. Might be Chychrun. Apparently, Chychrun has been scratched for trade reasons, and Florida and Tampa are believed to be in on Chychrun. So there's that. Trey says, oh, yeah, Brady's no move kicks in over the summer. Correct. No, there's no taxi squad anymore, unfortunately. There's what is it called? The Black Aces, the AHL guys. That's how we got Tarasenko last year. I believe that's it. But yeah, there's no taxi squad anymore. Bolivar says, be very careful because Tarasenko has been very injury prone as one of the last 4 or 5 years. Right. Yeah, I mean, look, we didn't give up anybody to get him, right? You know what I mean? So if he does get dinged, you just go back to the way things are right now, you know. But like I said, I know roster size is a problem, right? Because I was going to say I would still give up a 5th for Duke and stash him and just put him on the bench. But roster size, you can only have so many guys at this point, you know. So probably won't happen. Jameson says Tarasenko has had success on the half wall on the power play like the Ovi office. Okay. Well, the second unit could use help. I really don't want to break up the first unit, right? I really don't. I mean, the first unit, Chuck, Reinhart, Barkov. Has Ekblad been on the first unit? No, Montour, right? Who's the 5th guy? Tkachuk, Barkov, Reinhart, Montour, and Verhaeghe. So I don't really want to take any of those guys off. It wouldn't make any sense. You just make the second unit better, right? Yeah, Verhaeghe. Yeah, just leave that top unit alone and make the second unit better. Right. Okay, let's see. Julian says, watching the Blues, Tarasenko never played bumper on the PP. All right, so yeah, like he said, put him in Ovi's office over on whatever side he wants to be on, and then take off, because I think it was Nerfel that said it. He's right. We had Ekblad and OEL on the second power play, so now you just leave one of them out there. Mark Hamilton says, what's Chychrun's contract? We shouldn't add another defenseman on an expiring deal. We already have 3. Well, it depends on what we're going to get for him. Chychrun, I think, only had, let me see. Hold on. Let's see. What's his contract? Cap friendly. He's actually signed for next season as well, and he has a $4.6 million cap hit. So yeah, so he's this year, next year, he's got a modified no trade clause. So and it's a $4.6 million hit? That's a good question there, because if you do make the move for Chychrun, even if you have salary retained now, he's got a modified new trade clause that would almost guarantee that you're going to move on from Montour. How are we going to pay him 4.6 next year, right? Rinketic says no more Brandon, keep Reinhart, Forsling, and Chychrun. Yeah, Rinketic's got it right. Says no more Brandon, just keep Reinhart, Forsling, and Chychrun. I agree. So the show is boring, Vincent. Oh, I'm sorry, brother. You want me to do a dance? You want me to do a topless swing for you? Well, I mean, what are we supposed to talk about? Hey, Sean. Hockey, I just made a Tarasenko vid. Yeah. My whole podcast is ruined. It's uploaded. I don't put the podcast out until after the review is up, so you guys don't have to worry about which one you're watching. The podcast, it's funny now. What I say in the podcast in hindsight is just it's going to be kind of comical. Yep. So, Sean, you just joined. Can you get the quick hits? Tarasenko for peanuts. I think it's a fourth that becomes a third if we win the cup, or a third that becomes a second, and then another 4 or another 2. A couple of picks that were never going to make the team anyway. That's it. With half his salary retained, 50% salary retained. So, and there's James says, you all should be thrilled. Lundell, Luosterainen, and Tarasenko is the 6th third line. If that's the way it goes, right? Oh, nice try, Frank. Nice try, Frank. Frank trying to tell me we just stayed there for Seth Griffith. Thanks, John. I appreciate that. Yeah, Julian says, I don't want to mess up the third line. Lundell finally found chemistry, but the thing of it is, something's got to change. It's changing, right? Unless you're just gonna plop Tarasenko in Cousins' spot and move Cousins down. That's only changing 2 lines. That could be what Maurice wants to do, at least to start. And that's the other thing, is don't get married to where it all starts off. He may want to start Tarasenko out on the third line just to get into the groove of things. He may want to start him in Cousins' spot just to see if that works with Bennett and Tkachuk. So, but I would not guarantee, just kind of like with Reinhart, I wouldn't guarantee that where he starts off is where it's going to finish. So, Boulevard says, as a Vegas fan, I don't know how to feel about the Mantha trade, but the internet seems to treat it as the Breaking Bad meme. They can't keep farting away with it. Vegas is going to do their thing. It's tough to repeat, man. It's just tough to repeat. Nerful says, Tarasenko has 44 goals and 64 points in 97 career playoff games. He knows what it takes. Yeah. Look, not every single player has to be balls to the wall physical. As long as Tarasenko, let's just don't make him F3, okay? As long as you don't make Tarasenko F3, we should be good. All right? Let's put it that way. TK says, does Maurice have enough time to mentally break this guy down and reprogram him before the playoffs? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. If anybody can do it, Maurice can do it, though, right? Mark says, Tarasenko was great for the Rangers in last year's playoffs. Definitely not the reason we went home. Yeah. And Nerfel says the Panthers could be called whoever they send down after this weekend when the roster expands. Okay. That makes sense. Right. Was that Kyle? I'm trying to get Kyle in here. Give me a minute, because I know you guys will want to go a little bit longer. So if you could bear with me, let me go see if I can get Kyle in here. So I'll be right back in 1 minute. Stay there, folks. Stay there. Okay, all right. All right, I'm back. Good boy, puppy. All right, yeah. Kyle's going to come in and take over for me so that we can go a little bit longer, and then I'll come back because I know you guys want to hang out and everything. Is that you? Oh, the bobblehead? Yeah, it's Billy Lindsay right here. He's got to look more at you. There. Now he's looking at you. Now he's looking right at your eyes. All right, Kyle, you ready? All right, I'll be back in a little bit, guys. I got to catch my breath.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. How do I look? I look.
Yeah, you're fine. Yeah. All right, I'll be right back.
Hey.
I just leave this over because coffee needs to come out.
Okay. What's up, everyone? Reinforcements have arrived. So, Vladimir Tarasenko is a Florida Panther. And all it cost the Panthers was a 2025 third round pick, a 2020, I believe it'll be a 2024 fourth round pick, but that's a conditional pick. It becomes a 2026 third rounder if the Panthers win the Stanley Cup. And also, Ottawa has retained half of Tarasenko's salary. Hello, everyone. Hello, Jake, John, Trey. Yeah, I will get to see Tarasenko play the Lightning. How's everyone doing? Hamburger Hut. Hello, everyone. How you doing? So, Bill Zito manages to acquire a player who has a fair amount of goals and points this season with the Sens, and it didn't even result in us having to give up a player. Yeah, the cup clause is so refreshing to see. Now, I was not on the phone with Tarasenko during the trade. So, the initial reaction I'm seeing from Pierre LeBrun's tweet about the trade on Twitter, the Ottawa fans are wondering what the hell happened. They think Zito has gotten away with it again. I heard at least one person ask if Pierre Dorion is still the Sens GM. Some of the fans are wondering how the hell the Sens only got the picks from later rounds, 2 picks from later rounds, when they are also retaining half of Tarasenko's salary. Who do we put Tarasenko with? Well, Tarasenko is a left winger, correct? He plays left wing. Let me take a look. Vladimir Tarasenko. No, he's actually a right wing. He's a right winger. John says Brady Kachuk was overheard saying, "Are you sure it wasn't me going to Florida?" CG is being CG Cito is being accused of robbery. Cito gathering all the Infinity Stones. So you have to assume that Tarasenko is going to be taking a job on the third or fourth line. I think the top three lines as constructed are safe. I think Tarasenko might get relegated to the fourth line. I mean, the fourth line is the only line where we don't really have high-end scoring talent, with guys like Lundell and Luosterainen and Rodriguez finally scoring. So Greg says my upcoming Canada trip is going to be even more interesting now. Ottawa should be epic. Yeah, we better win the cup now. Now, my dad was saying earlier that the consensus was, since Ottawa is retaining half of Tarasenko's salary, that the Panthers are not done making moves yet. How about the chat answers? Where would you put Tarasenko? Damien says we got 4 Russian players now. Yeah, we assembled the Russian team. So this is also different from the President's Trophy year in that this time we did not have to give up a player, I believe, for Claude Giroux. Well, we gave up a player for Claude Giroux, and I believe that player was Owen Tippett, but this time we did not have to give up a player to acquire Tarasenko. Through 57 games, Tarasenko has tallied 17 goals and 24 assists. So that is 41 points. We could use that kind of production. CBS is thinking that Paul Maurice might decide to slot Tarasenko alongside Sam Bennett and Matthew Tkachuk, which would allow Nick Cousins to, quote, play a more suitable role in the bottom six. Now, I'm not sure how many of you would agree with that lineup change. Let's see. CG says second line, replace Cousins. Third line, and bump Luosterainen in the fourth line as the scoring punch with Stenlund and Lomberg. Yeah, Eisenite, it's nuts. Everyone wants to talk about Tarasenko going to Florida. Yeah, the Flyers are up next. That's the team we're playing next. Yeah, the Bruins lost in overtime again. And it was after they had a 1-0 lead in the third period as well. No, Trey, I don't think we're getting Crosby. So Tarasenko has Stanley Cup winner pedigree too. Who did he win the cup with? John says, I would rather put Tarasenko with Lundell and E2 and make that a stronger third line. We need this going close to and into the playoffs. Now, if the Panthers are not done making moves, if we are indeed about to get ourselves defensive help, who do you think we're going after? We won with the Blues, eh? Well, that's good. Means we acquired a man who has experience helping a franchise with decades of failure finally reach glory and get the cup. Hannafin is still in the air. Yeah, he's a scorer with a plus 13 rating. We could use that for the third line. I mean, Cousins made his best case to not get bumped off the second line last night. So Tarasenko might have to settle for third line. It really depends on how we want to approach. Do we want the lines to be more top heavy, or do we want the lines to all be capable of scoring? John says overall with Maurice, no one or line is safe. The man is like Zeno, but behind the bench, that braid is never satisfied. Here's the question. Do you think the Panthers should make another move? I mean, Ottawa was quite generous with retaining half of Tarasenko's salary. CG thinks Tarasenko will be a big boost for the second power play unit. Yeah, we could definitely use a guy on that second power play. Yeah, Jeremy says they don't need to, but it feels like they're not done yet. So how would you compare this to when the Panthers were adding at the trade deadline in the President's Trophy season? I think this year we might approach the trade deadline a lot smarter. The last time we were adding at the trade deadline, that's when we got guys like Jumbo Joe and Claude Giroux. JC, yeah, I think everyone is in the cup or bust mentality now. The Panthers as built, they are cup contenders. This is probably our best shot to win in this window. Hey, Zach, thank you for the 2. Thank you. Yeah, this year is different. They're not going all in to win a round. They're aiming for the cup. Panthers are a freaking wagon righty now. Love them. Tell Joss the first thing that Tarasenko did after he found out he was coming to Florida, he ordered some pancakes. So how do we have any Sens fans in the chat, and what would you say about this trade? Would you describe it as some of the people on Twitter did as panic selling? Hey, thank you, CG. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was called in to help out because obviously when a trade is made just as my dad is going live at noon. Reinforcements are needed. Daniel says, as a Sens fan, not impressed. I mean, you didn't even get a first. Well, the Panthers don't have any firsts to give, but the Sens only got a third rounder and a conditional fourth rounder, and they retain half of Tarasenko's salary. The Owl says Panthers are being accused of cheating again with this trade. Damien, did that just happen? Hang on a second. So, according to Damien, Henrique is going to the Oilers. Yeah, Bill Zito broke out the book of cheat codes. That's what it must feel like. That's what it must feel like if you are a fan of any other team. So, Zach says, ideally we'd run Sanko, Barkov, Reinhardt. So you want to put Tarasenko on the first line so that we can have Kachuk, Bennett, Verhage on the second. Lusterine, Lundell, Erod, Gadjevich, Stenlund, Lomberg. I don't know if Tarasenko is going to be getting first line minutes. Daniel says the expectation was a second rounder if we were retaining half the salary. Unfortunately, the Sens' hands were tied with Tarasenko's 12-team no-trade clause. Hard to believe no one offered better. That sounds like a Jaws skit video just ready to be made, where it's the Ottawa GM trying to make a deal for Tarasenko with Tarasenko, but the only one who's calling him is Zito. Yeah, I do not want to get rid of Cousins. You got that right, James. Owl says fans are complaining that the other teams are forced to give out no move clause and no trade clauses, but Florida doesn't have to because it's a desired location. So apparently the Oilers closing on Henrique is apparently a let's see how it looks right now. The latest trade is just showing as Tarasenko to the Panthers. So Henrique to the Oilers apparently is a rumor. So I had some time earlier today to skim through the replies to the Pierre LeBrun tweet describing the Tarasenko trade. Basically, robbery, fleeced. How did we not get a second rounder? Is Pierre Dorion still the Sens GM? Panic selling. Daniel says, I'm the president of the Red Scarf Union of Sens fan group, and our fans in the Facebook group are livid. I haven't seen a happy response thus far. People are asking if Pierre Dorion is still Shadow GM. Yeah, Cousins, Stenlund, Lomberg as a fourth line is a nightmare for other teams. They can score, hit, and forecheck the hell out of other teams' bottom lines. Yeah. Having Tarasenko means we can afford to move Cousins to a different line. The real question is it seemed that Cousins had sort of gotten into a groove with Bennett and Tkachuk. I wonder if we do what CBS Sports suggests we did and just we put Tarasenko on the second. Oh, would you take a look at that? Hang on a second, folks. All right. You ready?
Hey,
what's up?
I'm downstairs. I did the video for it, so I'm editing and I'm doing the video. So I figured I'd come on and this is our own version of Grossi and Perna. Which one of us is Grossi?
You actually, well, you are Perna when it comes to the football side of Flying Fluffy.
Right. Hey guys.
You got the same salt and pepper stuff going as he does.
Yeah. So for those of you just joining us, I did a full hour and then Kyle rescued me. So I needed to take a breath because the chat was moving so fast. I was starting to get a little bit of a an issue, so I needed to take 5 minutes.
Yeah, so. Taunt says, I just read the trade info and wow, what a deal. Yeah, a 2025 third rounder, a conditional 2024, I believe it's a conditional 2024 fourth rounder that will become a 2026 third rounder if the Panthers win the Stanley Cup. And right. Ottawa also retains half of Tarasenko's salary.
Right. So. Yeah. No. And like I said in the video, is basically the details of the picks. You can summarize them by saying we traded guys that was never going to make the team anyway. Right. not the way Zito builds it. It's like draft picks and all of that. Although we do need. We didn't even have to give up Sam Iskevich or anything.
So
Zach says, please settle the debate on whether or not it'd be smart to move Cousins if they're still in the mix for a D-man, hypothetically. No, it's interesting, Zach. In the video that's publishing right now, then the video that's producing right now, I actually talk about that specifically in the sense of moving a guy that was here last year and moving a guy off of the team. So the video that's coming out, it's only 9 minutes long. I cover that there. Yeah.
So Bobrovsky was asking, how do we feel about the trade, Jaws? I didn't hear your opinion. I think it's pretty unanimous that if you go onto Twitter, just go onto Twitter and read the reply.
I don't want to go to Twitter.
Go to the Pierre LeBrun tweet about this trade. You will see a swarm of angry Sens fans saying they got fleeced. This is robbery. Is Pierre Dorion the shadow GM of the Sens? How the hell did we not get a second while retaining half of his salary?
Well, when you think about it, I mean, I talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
We gave a first and Owen Tippett for Claude Giroux.
Yeah.
Who was in the same situation where he had a modified no move clause. He said, "I'm only go to Florida," and for Tarasenko, peanuts. I mean, I'm not completely disparaging every third round pick that ever was. I think Trocheck was the last third or fourth round pick that we had that really genuinely developed. I could be missing one, but you get the point. The way that this team is
headed towards you.
What's that?
I think.
Oh, no. Oh, okay. Hold on. I got to go make sure he can't get down here because it's pouring rain. I don't have to bring him back up. I'll be back in a second. Wait. No, wait. Stay, Fluffy. Okay. Well, Kyle, I'm on the show with Kyle. No, stay. Okay. I don't want you down. You stay.
So John says Ottawa doesn't deserve this. Yeah, well, like Daniel, the Sens fan, puts it, until some of our other Sens players get traded, I think I am cheering for Florida to win the cup. Tarasenko is a consummate professional, and it hurts to lose his experience. Leaves a hole in the
down here is Ellie. Put this heater on. All right, baby, stay there. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Get Brady Kachuk on the stream. Yeah, John. No, it's a whole rigmarole. If he comes down the stairs, then I got to walk him around outside to carry him back up the stairs, and it's pouring rain, so he's already upstairs. I don't want to have to do that, right? So, all right, Kyle, go ahead.
So, I was saying that basically there was a Sens fan here. There's a Sens fan here. He says, until some of our other Sens players get traded, I think I'm cheering for Florida to win the cup. Tarasenko is a consummate professional, and it hurts to lose his experience. It leaves a hole in the lineup.
Okay, gotcha. Jeez, yeah. Well, Zach is saying Adam Henrique to the Oilers confirmed. So that's scratch that name off. I guess everybody's making moves today, right?
Yeah, well, apparently the Penguins are hoping to have a Jake Gensel trade done by tonight.
The Penguins are there, but they haven't mentioned to who.
Yeah, they're just trying to get rid of Gensel. They're trying to to find someone to trade with.
Right. Yeah, Nick says, I really like having Kyle on the stream like this. You should do like this all the time. He's got to be out of bed. He's got to be out of bed. Have you even eaten yet, kiddo?
Not yet. I think I will.
It's 1:30. He gets out of bed at noon, takes a shower. He hasn't eaten yet. So once I start uploading the video, we'll go and I'll let you go eat, kiddo.
Yeah, it's all right. I might actually make the pancakes since I don't really have anything else. The peanut butter that we have is your peanut butter. So
that's what I had earlier today. Anyway, yeah, John says Brady Kachuk said you can cancel half of my contract and write the other half off. I want to go to Florida too.
yeah, I mean,
Tom wants to know. He says I want to get a Saint Bernard for my family because I've read that those are the only two large dog breeds that don't try to take over your home. It's not your experience, Jaws. Define what you mean by take over. If you're worried about dog hair, don't get a Saint Bernard. And if you get a Saint Bernard, just be prepared that he will be wherever you are, he will be. I would not recommend getting a Saint Bernard if you're a traditional family that everybody's gone 8 hours a day working. If nobody's going to be home, I would not recommend a Saint for that because they're likely to get they get a lot of separation anxiety. Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, Zach says Vladdy on the top line with Barkov and Rhino. 2 elite forwards plus Rhino putting everything but his own mom in the back of the net would be insane. Well,
yeah.
CBS Sports was suggesting that perhaps Paul Maurice would put Tarasenko on the second line with Bennett and Kachuk and allow, quote, Cousins to get the more appropriate bottom 6 time.
Right. Yeah. And then I like Nerfel's idea, to be honest. I don't like it, but I like it. I don't know why I don't like it because he's right. And he puts Rodriguez back up with Barkov and Reinhardt and then moves for Hagee with Bennett and Kachuk because we know both of those two lines have worked together just fine. And then you just put Tarasenko on his right side, which is where he's played. You put him on Lundell and Luosterainen's line, and you're good to go. So, yeah.
Trey says
Trey. Yeah, it depends on your definition of taking over the house. If you're worried about dirt and slobber and hair, don't get a Saint Bernard because one of you is going to be miserable. Either you trying to keep it clean or him with you trying to keep him clean.
Fabulous Disaster says, I'm not a Panthers fan, but please beat the Leafs.
Well, that's going to be up to Boston because it's most likely if things lay out the way they are now. You're probably looking at Boston playing the Leafs. If we win the division, it's going to be Boston playing Toronto. So, which I'm fine with because then we only get one of those two teams. Or if we finish in second place, we're likely to get both.
Hey Jeff, if you're just joining us now, Jeff Garlitz, Vladimir Tarasenko is a Florida Panther, and it only cost us a third and a conditional fourth, and Ottawa retained half of Tarasenko's salary. So,
yeah,
I wasn't sure.
Yeah. Look, I mean, yeah, exactly. And Zach says everything else can remain the same. I'm interested to see about the defensemen because, like I said, we would not have had them retain 50% if we weren't planning on using it. So, Trey, Fluffy's got. I don't fix my dogs. Ellie actually did get spayed, but the male dogs I leave them intact. I think it's healthier for them. So yeah, but he's not. They're perfect family dogs. I mean the dog in Peter Pan, the Nana was the dog.
TP says 50% retention is nuts. Still cap space for more trades. Yeah, it's entirely possible the Panthers might get defensive help. That's what's your theory, or theory of the chat?
Well, they said earlier in the chat that Jacob Chikrin is being held out for trade reasons, and that it is believed that Florida and Tampa are the main one in competition for him. So, and that I talk about that in the video coming up, but that brings up a whole different ball of wax because Chikrin still has term on his deal next year at $4.6 million. So what if Zito can get Chikrin with 50% retained for both years, and then we have Chikrin instead of Montour, and we save $2 million in cap space next year? I mean, that would be prime Bill Zito, right?
Jeez.
And Mike says, don't forget, guys, he still has to get acclimated to our system in 19 games. That's not a lot of time to become an impact player. Go ahead, Kyle.
We played the long game here. Tarasenko won the cup with the Blues, who were the epitome of agonizing failure for decades. So he has playoff experience, which is very crucial, I think, to any trades that might still make, is that we get guys who can handle the playoff spotlight.
Right.
Jesus, asking any thoughts on how Tarasenko works with the team chemistry.
I mean, as far as that's concerned, I don't know the players personally. You know what I mean? I can only assume in that situation that we're just trusting Bill. I'm sure they all talk to people that have played with these guys and worked with them before. They did that with Mikkola. They talked to a couple of people who had played against Mikkola, and they all told him he's a massive pain in the ass to play against because of his reach. So I would just as well assume that, they've talked to people about Tarasenko and they feel comfortable that he would fit,
So, yeah. It's crazy. Bill Zito is Matt Gaming is nominating Bill Zito for president.
All right, I'll flip back off in a second because I gotta upload this video. So I'll just be right back.
All right, you'll be right back onto the stream.
I'm still on camera, but I'm not on camera.
I see. Okay. So Zach says, I could care less about connections to Florida, decent underlying numbers. Chikrin's play style is completely different from this team. It makes zero sense to acquire him. Frank says, I would love trading for Brandon Domain. Hometown boy. Damien says, Sean Walker to the Avalanche. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that. Yep. Yeah, it looks like everybody's trying to get the moves done now.
Yeah.
How much you want to bet we'll be live again tonight?
Yeah,
all right, I'm almost done. I'm just posting the video so that the people that missed it live will have some kind of. Oh, hold on, let me do that. All right, just keep going, Kyle. Just pretend I'm not here. I got to make the thumbnail.
All right, so I keep trying to go to TSN to take a look at the trade tracker page, but the ads, they keep playing the ads. I hear it. I'm not sure if the chat can hear it. Have you ever found out if people can hear the ads playing on your computer during a live stream?
I think only if I share.
I see.
I think only if I share that tab. I don't think they'll hear it.
I see. So,
and I'm here to help you walk you through it if they do. So no big deal. It's actually a good time to test it. Come on. All right.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
What happened?
Accidentally did that backwards thing because all I want to do is scroll, and somehow my mouse ends up all the way over there.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're gonna get. Let me finish this video, and then we'll just close it up here real quick.
Darius says,
'Cause I know
dude,
you-
I just looked up what we traded for Tarasenko. I'm stunned. Only 2 mid-tier draft picks, and they retain half. My
I know.
God, we're not a wagon anymore. We're a freaking freight train.
Right. All right. I'm almost done, kiddo. I know you got to eat. I can hear you slowing down. I don't blame you. Let me just finish this up.
I just wanted to see if they had announced what Henrique got traded for. Let's see. Nope. Apparently Sam Carrick is also headed to Edmonton. So
Jeez.
the Ducks gave multiple players to the Oilers. That'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Okay. All right. I'm ready. I'll close it up now. And that way, I'm uploading the video now, so that should be out in about 20 minutes. And that'll give Kyle and I a break. If something else happens, if Panthers do something else, I'm just gonna be here at home. I got to take care of. Kyle's got to eat. Poor kid's got to eat. It's 1:41, and he pops on and streams for me for 45 minutes before he even eats breakfast. So basically, because he doesn't wake up till noon, because he just he has a good schedule. Yeah, he has a good schedule for sure. So you guys check out Nick's True World. Check out his music channel. He just dropped the link there. He does great work. He's an excellent guitarist, good vocalist, and he does a lot of cover work over there. If you're into rock, he's definitely your guy. So Frank says, you realize Monahan went for a first. Jeez, I don't know what Zito has on some of these GMs, but he's got the juju on these guys, man.
I was saying,
go ahead,
it's a Bill Zito skit video waiting to happen, where you are both Bill Zito, you play both Bill Zito and you play the Ottawa GM. The Ottawa GM is trying to trade Tarasenko, but the only one who's calling him is Zito, and he's like, no.
That's not a bad idea, Kyle. That's actually a pretty good idea. Yeah, that's a good. I'll have to work on that one. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for all the super chats. And like I said, if something else breaks, one of us will go live, or the other one. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
We'll see you again soon.
Yep. You have a great time, everyone. See you later. Probably in about 5 hours.